In 2025, layoffs, job losses, and wage garnishments are all becoming the norm, and we're going to talk about all of those things in today's video. And today I am walking down Elm Avenue in Larkspur, California. So imagine you are one of the top dogs at Microsoft, earning a six-figure salary, feeling like you finally made it in life, and then one day you're fired, no severance pay, no backup plan, and within months, you're on the edge of losing your home. Well, that's exactly what's happening to a man that used to work there. His name is Modi Khan, and this story is becoming all too familiar these days. And by the way, in case you didn't notice, what I first said there is this guy was let go without severance. People who have been getting laid off from these big tech companies prior to now have been the lucky ones that have had the severance. Now you're getting laid off with no severance, which means no safety net after you lose your job. And unfortunately, this story is not unique. This is happening to thousands of tech workers across the country, but really concentrated right here in the Bay Area. And this just goes to show you how brutal today's job market has become. Now, this guy, Modi, he has a strong resume, 5 years at Microsoft, experience in the tech industry, but after being fired in December of 2024, he's burned through almost all of his savings and he's got just $10,000 left. He said it's barely 2 months of survival money. And this is why I repeatedly tell people you need to have an emergency fund. But look at this guy, even after doing everything right, say he had a 6-month emergency fund, which it seems like he had even more, which is what I tell people. And sometimes it's still not enough, guys. Like he's going on 8 months without a job. He's got 2 months worth of expenses left. So that means he had 10 months of emergency savings going off of just an estimate here. And he's still running into financial trouble and on the verge of losing his home. And one thing that has helped him along the way is he actually put his home into forbearance, because if he doesn't find a job soon, him and his wife might lose the house to foreclosure once the forbearance runs out. So he probably didn't actually have 10 months worth of emergency savings. He probably was able to just stretch the emergency savings he did have further by putting his home into forbearance, which really isn't the greatest idea either. I guess for an emergency situation like this, it's better than losing your home if you can pause payments for a little while. But keep in mind, when you do this, your mortgage balance is actually going to go up, because all of those missed payments get tacked on to the end of your mortgage, and all of that interest is still accumulating along the way. So let's say your balance was $300,000 at the time you decided to put your payments on pause. Well, by the time you finish your forbearance 6 months later, your balance might be $310,000 as the interest continues to accumulate. So the idea with the forbearance is you don't pay now, but you pay more later. Now, Microsoft this year, I think, has been the top tech company when it comes to layoffs. They've laid off about 15,000 people this year alone. And Google, Amazon, Intel, Walmart, all of these companies are slashing management roles right now, which is kind of dubbed the Great Flattening. Since January of 2025, about 80,000 tech workers worldwide have lost their jobs, and a lot of white-collar positions in general are being hit very hard right now. But this guy Modi says that his last few years at Microsoft were actually pretty brutal. There was a lot of performance reviews that felt like more like setups than support. Managers warned him about losing his job, but offered little guidance or coaching. And he's one of the few people that actually hated working remotely. He preferred to work in the office, and he says that working remote actually gave him a ton of extra stress. So when he finally got let go in December of 2024, he was terminated for performance and denied severance pay. This is kind of the typical story we're seeing a lot of times now. You're seeing a lot of people being let go due to performance, but never really having been told that their performance was bad, having the same performance for the past 20 or 30 years, and now all of a sudden the performance is subpar. I mean, clearly these are just excuses to let people go. Hopefully, I don't know if you guys can hear this, but the wind is absolutely whipping out here today. Look at this. I tried to choose a spot where there wasn't too much wind, where I was kind of protected from the wind a little bit, and I think I did a pretty good job. So hopefully You guys don't hear that. Now, since Modi has been laid off, he says he's applied to dozens of jobs, including 30 internal roles at Microsoft, but no luck. He's had some interviews. Sometimes they actually seem to go really well, but afterwards he gets completely ghosted or just flat out rejected. He believes there's a couple things that are contributing to his hard time finding a new job. One is age bias. That's a big one that a lot of people are facing these days. You know, a lot of employers might assume that you are out of date on new technology, even though he earned an AI certification recently. Also, there's big tech stigma. Recruiters seem to favor startup veterans, seeing Microsoft as too corporate. And he thinks that even his background plays a role due to his Pakistani background that might work against him in the hiring process. But now he's got bills piling up. He's got a mortgage payment coming up pretty soon once the forbearance ends, and his savings are nearly gone. So what do you do? Especially since you've been looking for a job. It's not like he's just been sitting around doing nothing, at least according to him. This just goes to show you that how even skilled workers today can suddenly find themselves just a few months away from financial disaster in today's economy. And this isn't just about this one guy's story. Of course, we're just chronicling his story. But what it's really about is what happens when these corporations cut costs. You know, all these companies used all the free money they received during the pandemic to hire way too many people. And now all those people are being let go. Combine that with AI, which we're going to talk about later in this video, since so many companies are looking for efficiency and cost savings over anything else right now. And this leads you to a situation where all these people are losing high-paying jobs with seemingly nowhere left to turn. And that's why I also think, on a side note here, that the way things are going right now, guys, the Bay Area here in general is going to see home prices come down probably pretty substantially because all these high-income earners are losing jobs right now, and that can't last forever. These guys can't go months or years without work, continue to make their mortgage payments. Somebody's going to have to step in and buy those homes. But as more of them come up for sale and fewer people in the area can afford to buy, what do you think that's going to do to prices around here?